Friends, Java data types in just 1 minute. Challenge accepted, let's go. So data types tell Java what kind of data we are working with. So Java has 8 built-in ACA primitive data types, numbers and other primitives. So in this video, we will be learning about data types in Java. We will be covering all the data types which a beginner should be learning about Java. So I hope you'll be enjoying this video from start, in which we will be covering up all the things related to data types here. So if you understand this video and if you enjoy this video from start, so remember to hit a like, and if you're new on this channel, want to see more videos like this, so remember to subscribe, and after subscribing, hit notification bell as well, so you can get the notifications of all my coming up videos which I'll be uploading on this channel. So now what we are waiting for, let's move to computer screen and let's get started. So now here we are on the computer screen, and like I've told you in the start that today in this video I will be telling you about what are data types in Java. So now we will be understanding that what are data types and how we can use data types in Java. So as I have explained you in the previous chapter, or you can say in the previous video, that a variable in Java must be specified data type. So like we have already learned about variables in Java, and as you know, like when we are working with variables, so there must be a data type which should be specified to a variable in Java. So like that we will be specifying one variable, in that we will be just adding our data type here. Like you can just say this integer is a variable which we are using, sorry, this mynum is a variable which we are using, and this init is a data type which we are using with this variable, so that we can just define this 5 as our number, and this 5 will be called as whole number, or you can say it as integer as well. But if we are writing any number with decimal value, so it will be called as a decimal number, but it is a whole number because we are only writing the number simply like we write. And then if we move down, so there is another data type which we are using of float, and with this float data type I am using one variable which is my float num. You can give any of your variable name you want to, but remember when you are working with data types, so these are the 4 data types which you need to understand. First is integer, second is float, this one, and third is this char, and then if we move down to the fourth, it is boolean. So we need to understand all these 4 data types which we are working with, and variable name can be anything you want, but it should be like it should be same as you are working with. Like if I'm writing whole number, so I have written my variable name as mynum. Then if we are using float number, so I can give my variable name as my float num, means just same as the number which we are using, you can give the name. And if you're using character here, so you can add this char my letter, or you can just say this char data type here, so that we can work with this character value here. Then if we move down and if we divide data types into 2 groups, so how we can do that? So this is really important thing, we need to highlight this, because data types are divided into 2 groups which normally not known by beginners. So there are 2 data types which we are working with, or you can say in which data types are divided into. One is primitive data types, and if we talk about second, it is non-primitive data types. In primitive data types, it includes byte, short, init, long, float. These are some, you can say, primitive data types, and with that we also use double boolean and this character data type. So these are primitive data types. And if we talk about some non-primitive data types, so these are like string, arrays, classes, and you will learn more about these in a later chapter. So these are 3 non-primitive data types which we use in Java and in Python as well. Then if we talk about primitive data types, a primitive data type can specify the type of a variable and the kind of values it can hold. There are 8 primitive data types in Java. So these are the 8 primitive data types which we use in Java. One is byte, it stores whole number from 128 to 127. Then if we talk about short, stores whole numbers from -32 768 to 32 767. Then in integer stores whole number from 214748364 to 214748367. So these are the numbers which are being stored by integer, and these are called as whole numbers. Then if you talk about this long thing, so it is also another whole number which we use, like 9223, and these are some numbers which we use with this long data type. Then this is another data type, float, and it stores fractional numbers like which are sufficient for storing 6 to 7 decimal digit. Like if you want to store 6 to 7 decimal digits, so you can use this fractional number thing which is float here. So if you want to store any fractional number, you can use this float data type. Then if we talk about double data type, so it stores fractional number but is sufficient for storing 15 to 16 decimal digit. Like in float you can store 6 to 7 decimal digit, and then if you talk about this double you can say data type. So in this data type you can store 15 to 16 decimal digit, which is a really good thing here. Then if we talk about this boolean keyword, or you can say this boolean data type, so this boolean data type stores true or false values. Then this character data type stores a single character, letter, or AC or ASCII values, and these are called as Roman number values, you can also say that. So these are the thing which we normally use here. And if you talk about that why we use these all data types here, or you can say what the most data type which we use, so most data types which are being used in Java are primitive data types like byte, short, init, long, float, double, boolean, and character. These are the most used data type which we use in Java. But this string, array, classes, these are also being used in Java, but not too much. But primitive data types are really important. That's why I have highlighted this thing, because in primitive data types we need to understand that why we are using these data types and what's the purpose to use these data types if we are using it in Java. Normally when we work with these all things, so we use these all things in JavaScript and Python as well. But if you talk about non-primitive data types like string, arrays, and classes, these are being used most in JavaScript and Python. So you need to just have this difference between them. So I hope you understand till here that how we can just use these data types, and basically how many types of data types are, and data types are divided into two groups, and what are these two groups are: primitive data types and non-primitive data types. Now I will be opening my Java IDE which we were just using in the previous video, NetBeans, because I just need to explain it practically as well, like if I'm using these all data types, so actually what output I'm getting when I'm working with it. Remember, we have not we have not used any print tag here, like any of like println function or anything like that. That's why when you will be only writing this thing and when you will be running your Java class or Java file, so it will be not giving you an output. If you want to get an output, you need to use println function, which we will be using here. So I have opened my NetBeans IDE here. Like you all know that in the previous video we were just using main.java as our main file, so I will be not just removing things from here. I will be just using the same file. I will be removing things from my file which I was just using previously on when we were just working on variables, and in the previous video I was just telling you the real life example of variables, and we have created one student program as well with that. So I will be opening my Word document again, and here I will be just copying first thing, which is init num, and this is normal integer data type which we are using. So normally when you will be printing this thing, so we will be printing using system thing here, like we were just using. So this is the thing here. So I will be doing one thing, I will be removing these all things, and then I will be pasting it again like this. Press tab so that we can get space after this. Then I will be removing these two things, means these two println function, and I will be just now removing thing from here as well. In this println I will be just writing my num so that I can print this thing, or you can say this variable, so that I can get the output that if I'm using this data type of integer, so how the output is, like how output we are getting in the terminal and what output we are getting in our terminal. So you don't have to press this run button, simply just move to your file and just right click on it and then press run file here. So if I press run file, you can just see that here we are getting the output running as 5. Normally it is 5 because we have only put this whole number 5 printed in mynum variable. So that's why normally when we are printing this mynum variable, we are getting the output printed as 5. Then I will be moving on to my Word document again, and I will be just copying this float value here, or you can just say this float data type value. Then I will be just now printing this float value as well. So I will be writing comma, and I will be writing my float num so that I can print this value as well. Now when you have done this thing, I will be just now running it. So if I run this like this by pressing right click run file, you can just see we are getting an error. An error is saying me that the float, sorry, if we run it again like this, so it is saying me that exception in thread main java.language.runtime exception error, and it is saying uncapable source code erroneous sum type java.io.print stream println. So we need to just print it perfectly, and for that what I'm going to do is now I will be removing this mynum from here like this, and I will be removing this mynum from here as well, so that when I will be running this thing, I should be not getting any output. Like this I will be printing this. Now I have printed this float with my float num. So if I will be running it again, like pressing right click, and if I run it, you can just see now we are getting the output successfully, which is 5.99, because we were just using an other variable of mynum and another data type. That's why when we were just running this data type, we were not getting the output. But now when we are running it, we are getting our output running successfully. And like this, you can just use these other data types as well, like this character, this boolean, and this string. So I hope you understand how we are using data types in Java, and basically what's the purpose to use data type, and what are the two groups in which data types has been divided in Java. We have also understand that all things. So if you have understand this video, and if you understand that how we can use data types in Java, how many types of data types are there in Java, so remember to hit a like to this video. And if you're new on this channel, want to see more videos like this, so remember to subscribe, and after subscribing, hit notification bell so you can get the notifications of all my coming up videos which I'll be uploading in future. So now I will be meeting you in next tutorial or in next project of Java from start. So for today, goodbye.